Welcome to Like Minded with Dr. Patrice. Today, Schuron Womack joins us to explore what it means to live truthfully when tomorrow isn't promised, and how beauty, creativity, and self-definition shape our sense of belonging. Together, we'll unpack the journey of becoming on your own terms, the unseen impact of representation behind the cameras, and how safety, boundaries, and care function as mental health practices. This conversation invites us to rethink visibility, confidence, and the freedom to evolve without explanation. Schuron Womack is a Los Angeles-based NAACP Award-winning makeup artist with over 2 decades of experience across television, film, and fashion. Her work includes acclaimed series such as Bel Air and Abbott Elementary, with a career spanning creative hubs like New York, London, and Paris. Known for her thoughtful artistry, Schuron approaches makeup as both craft and care, helping people feel beautiful and confident. Schuron and I share a relationship that began through makeup, but over time has grown into one rested in trust, creativity, and mutual respect. Through working together, I've had the privilege of witnessing not just her artistry, but her thoughtfulness, her intentionality, and the way she moves through the world with grace and clarity. Welcome, Schuron. I'm so happy to have you.
I'm so grateful to be here. Thank you, my love.
Of
You are so
course.
magnificent.
Likewise. So, Schuron, I'd love to
Yes.
start with your journey.
Yes.
So, a lot of your formative years were in Salt Lake City, right? But
Yes,
where
yes.
did you grow up? Where
Yeah.
did you?
Well, it's kind of funny. I grew up in Ohio, in Alabama,
Mhm.
and Salt Lake City, Utah. I think my coming of age actually happened in Salt Lake City, Utah.
Okay.
That's where I
Yeah.
really discovered who I am.
Okay.
Yeah.
And so you born in Ohio, lived in Alabama, and then moved to Salt Lake City.
Yes.
Okay. What were all of those places like for you? Like, did you see yourself represented? What was that experience?
It's interesting thinking about it because when you're a kid, you have no idea.
Mm.
You know what I mean? For me, it was Michael Jackson and Madonna,
Right.
George Michael.
Mhm.
So my mom always raised us to be very eclectic when it came to music
Mhm.
or art. Like she was like, I just want to make sure that you were, she would say, well-rounded,
Mhm. Mhm.
And so for that reason, yes, represented in Ohio, going to Alabama, it was a shock
Okay.
because, we grew up in kind of a metropolis. Akron is a big city.
Yeah.
There's like the Goodyear Aerospace was there and
Mhm.
like all these different industries. And so going to a small place like Alabama was interesting because I was, first of all, shocked that we were there. I
Really?
was 12 years old
Mm.
and I was like, okay, well, I'm here now. What am I supposed to do?
Right. Yeah, because by 12, you have kind of formed, quite a bit of who you are. And then to have like
Yeah.
such a culture shock, a
Yeah.
culture change. And
Yeah.
then what precipitated the move to Salt Lake City?
Salt Lake City. So being raised Mormon,
Mhm.
we go on mission calls.
Okay.
So I was raised in the Mormon church. I graduated from seminary.
Mhm.
I did all of those things. And I got my mission call there, actually.
Okay.
Yeah, I got my mission call there. And I was surprised because I was like, isn't this where the Mormon church is based? So that was kind of interesting to me. I was like, but I said, well, listen, wherever God wants me is where I'm supposed to be. Because I grew up
Yeah.
very religious.
Okay, very religious.
Yeah.
Okay. And then what was it like in Salt Lake City and the Mormon community and all of that kind of thing? We see it on TV. There's all these shows now, about like
Yeah.
Real Housewives of Salt Lake City and Mormon wives and that kind of thing. What is there truth to that? Is that just kind of
I think there's some truth to all of it,
Okay.
to be perfectly honest. Because I was raised Mormon, I grew up in predominantly white areas,
Okay.
even though my mom was a nurse and I went to a very mixed school
Mhm.
in Alabama. Then going to Utah, it was much more shocking because in Alabama, people are black and white.
Yes,
In
right.
Utah,
People are white.
there was Karl Malone. There was Karl Malone and John Stockton. and me.
Yep.
So that's what it was. But
Yeah.
it didn't bother me because I was Mormon. So I didn't really think about like,
Well, that's interesting. Would you say Mormon was your identity first?
I would say yes.
Okay.
I would say
Okay.
yes. Growing up in the church was a blessing because it kept me out of trouble.
Mm.
I didn't know anything any different. I knew you go to seminary Monday through Friday, you
Mhm.
go to church on Sunday, and you go to church on Wednesday.
Yeah.
And it kept me in a place that was good, you
That's really
know,
interesting.
especially growing up in Alabaster. We had a really cute little apartment,
Mhm.
and it was very multicultural on this little hill in Alabaster. I got my first job at Arby's and the Gap, right? Crazy. And so I guess I didn't really have any idea what I was except for Schuron, which is what all
Mm.
my friends would say. Oh, well, you're just Schuron. And I
Ah.
feel like it's funny. There's so much I want to talk to you about.
Yes. Yes,
So
tell
I'll
me.
let you
Yeah,
answer the question. I'll let you
No,
talk
no,
to
no,
it.
what were you gonna say? What were you gonna
I was
say?
gonna say it's interesting. I guess I never realized what microaggressions were.
Right.
And in Alabama, and all my friends, I love you all in Alabama. If you watch this, I hope you will watch it because it's something that's all my friends are so good to me. I didn't really
Mm.
have any Black friends. It's crazy
Mm.
because in the church, again, we were the only Black
Yeah,
family.
yeah.
And so my friends are wonderful, but they would just say, "Oh, well, you're not Black and you're not gay and you're
Uh,
not this. You're just Sharon."
yeah, right. Thinking that's a compliment. Right.
Yeah.
Yes, yes. I've talked to
Yeah.
people about this all the time, like when people say things, "Oh, we don't see color." It's like, but it's okay to. I don't think of it as a bad thing. If you don't see color, you're not seeing like my whole self, right?
Exactly.
And so I
Exactly.
I think that when we're young, sometimes it's just like, "Oh, I'm feeling accepted," but then there's like that little feeling that is like kind of, like bothers you a little bit. Like that doesn't really
Well,
feel good or
it's
it
funny
feels,
because you don't know. I didn't know.
yeah, you don't know what you
I
don't
didn't have
know.
the wherewithal. My
Right.
mom was raising my sister and I, and she was working at Shelby County Medical Center,
Mhm.
and she's just like, you have a roof over your head and you have
Right.
food on the table.
Yeah.
So, you know, and then when she would come home, she'd come home so tired, and I'd be like,
Mm.
"Mom, are you okay? Can I do anything for you?" I'm the middle child,
Uh-huh.
and so she'd be like, "This is one thing I'm going to tell you, Sharon. Just make sure whatever you do, you love it. Make sure that it's never
Hmm.
work for you. Make sure that you're always happy because life is hard, you
Yes.
know?"
That's interesting. You
Yeah.
said your mom was a nurse, right?
Hmm.
Yeah, and that's hard work. And
Yeah,
it's hard work and you're caring for other people and
definitely.
maybe, often other people who are not that happy to see you, right? So
Especially
those
being a Black woman, taking care of
yes.
all these
Yeah, absolutely.
people.
Right.
And
She
yeah,
probably dealt with a lot. So those are words of wisdom you don't always understand when you're a child, but now I'm sure you think about it a lot,
I do.
the
I do.
difference that makes to love what you're doing. Um, so, kind of thinking along those lines, was there a moment, like if you're looking back now, when, becoming yourself, like kind of gave you that permission to want this kind of life for yourself, to dream bigger, or to like choose freedom, choose what your life can look like?
I would say yes.
Mm.
I remember in school, I loved art so much.
Hmm.
Art is my everything. It's my passion.
Yeah.
I was in theater. I was in AP art. And those were the things that allowed me to know that the world is a much bigger place than it is.
Mm.
You know what I mean? And my mom
Yes.
was, like I said, wonderful. When we were kids, it was different. She was just like, just see and do everything.
Ah,
See and do
I love
everything. You
that.
know what I mean?
Hmm.
And so I would buy Vogue magazine, like with the allowance I would get at first until I got my own job, and then
Hmm.
I would be buying Elle magazine, Vogue
Yep,
magazine,
all of
whatever
them.
I could, and
Yes.
those were my escape.
Mm.
Those are my escape.
Yeah. What did you feel like you were needing to escape from or wanting to escape
Oh,
from?
honey, I have nothing bad to say about Alabama
Mhm.
because it's a wonderful state and there are wonderful people
Mhm.
there. But it was small.
Mhm. Mhm.
It was small, and in my mind, I knew the world was a much bigger place.
Yeah,
I just
yeah.
felt it.
Right. And
Yeah.
then being able to see other people doing things and going to places and you kind of, can get to imagine. And then probably also your mom encouraging you to
Definitely. My mom is this wonderful woman who's been through so much, but my mom actually was raised in Chicago.
mm,
And so for her, she knew the world was bigger, you
yes.
know?
Right.
And so when we were raised in Ohio, again, it was still Akron, it was
Mhm.
big. There was a lot going on. You know, moving to Alabama felt very small,
Yes.
you
Very
know?
different. Yeah, I'm
Yeah.
sure in
Yeah.
so many ways.
Hmm.
Okay, so tell me about that. Like, how did you get to Hollywood, to Los Angeles? What was that
Oh,
journey?
my goodness. Okay, so the journey from Salt Lake City
Hmm.
to Los Angeles was really unique. I got my first big job with MAC Cosmetics
Oh.
in 1995.
What a time to be a Mac as well.
Right?
The
At the
90s.
beginning of all of the magic. And it was beautiful. I used to work for a company called BMI. Excuse me. It was called ZCMI.
hmm
ZCMI was Zion's Cooperative Mercantile Inc. It was a Mormon company. It was
Okay.
they call it the America's first department store.
Oh, really?
And so
I've
I
never
know,
heard of
right?
it.
Crazy. And so I got my job there right after my mission.
hmm
And I just loved cosmetics.
Yeah.
I remember my mom, before she became a nurse, when I was a kid, she worked at a place called Parisians.
What's that?
Parisians is like Saks Fifth Avenue or Neiman Marcus. And she was married to my sister's father at that time.
Uh-huh.
And she worked for a company called Charles the Ritz.
Oh.
And my mom used to wear like turbans and like dark brown lipstick and high
Oh
heels. And
my
I'd be like,
goodness. Ooh.
right? And I was like, this is magical.
Right.
And I would always be like, oh my gosh, mommy, you look so pretty.
hmm
And she'd be like, out the door,
Yeah.
you know? And so I remember when I got my job, I was like, I didn't work in cosmetics at the time
hmm
at ZCMI. I worked in visual display because I was obsessed with art and met
Yeah.
this incredible person who's still one of my dearest and most wonderful friends, Ann Smith.
Mm.
She's my everything. She saw something in me. And she's like, you're so creative. And because I worked in the bailiwick, it was the men's department.
Uh-huh.
And I always decorate the men's department in a way and like I'd fold everything so pristinely. And she'd be like, what are you doing selling clothes when you should be doing something artistic? And I loved art. I've been drawing my whole life.
Yes.
So with art and makeup and all that stuff, got the job there, knew that I wanted more.
Mm.
There was a job at MAC at Nordstrom's. And I remember I was just this kind of wild, unique person at the time. I have to show you a picture. I had, you're going to scream. I had red hair and blue contacts.
Oh, wow. You're doing all the things. all the things all at once.
This big. I was so tiny. But I was trying to figure out who I was. And so I got this job at MAC. I didn't get the job at MAC at first. I got a job with Makeup Forever first. And then Smashbox. And Pam Jacobson, she was the counter manager. And she was like, okay, I love what you do with, dramatic makeup. But she goes, MAC is so much more than that. So what we're going to interview you. This is July of 1995. And I did a makeup and she goes, oh my gosh, this, dramatic makeup is beautiful. But she goes, do you know how to just do really beautiful, clean makeup? And I was like, well, what does that look?
And why does anyone want that?
What does that look?
But I wonder if, there was like that connection to seeing, your mom, like getting to see her like so glamorous and like really doing all this stuff. Schuron, it makes me think of, I remember being in the 3rd grade and my mom was picking me up for a doctor's appointment. And, we were in these classrooms. It's like this small Christian school. We were in these classrooms where they're like kind of trailers and you have like a ramp that goes up. I don't know if you've like seen those.
I do
Okay.
know these.
So I could just hear her, like she was like walking up the ramp. She wearing like her high heels, like she did not look like the other mom. She looked so cute. I was like, that's my mom. I was so proud of it. But I was like, I remember that moment. I mean, it was so many years ago, but I remember seeing like, look how she like pulled together she is. She's not leaving the house like looking any kind of way. Like she always had like, lipstick, blush, lipstick for blush, whatever.
Yes.
But, and the heels and the stockings and all of that stuff. So it made me think of that, like how you see those examples and you're like, yes, okay, that's what. Or sometimes people see the opposite and they're like, oh no, I'm never going to be that person who's not pulled together, That's promises we make to ourselves.
Honey.
But yes, sorry.
No, I love it. I love it. I think that's the most beautiful thing, which is why I think you are the way you are.
I think it is. I think it is.
Glamorous and beautiful. And again, like I said, Dorothy Dandridge, all those. When I see you, I'm just like, wow, this woman is magical.
Oh, you're too
Honey.
kind. Too kind.
And so I love women like that,
Yeah.
which is why I wanted to become that because I knew that's what I was supposed to be as well.
Yes.
So it's interesting. I got the job at MAC finally. And the crazy thing is, Dr. Patrice, I ended up getting fired.
Really? What did you do?
At that point, I was constantly changing because I just thought, isn't makeup an accessory?
Oh.
Isn't it supposed to be something that you can change with whatever you feel in that
Right.
moment? Why do I have to, just wear like powder and eyebrows? Why can't I like have on a black lipstick and a smoky eye myself?
Right. Yes.
Again, I'm this 21-year-old kid
Uh-huh.
in Salt Lake City, Utah. Everyone is white.
Mm-hmm.
And everybody kind of looked at me interestingly. But what was funny is that there was a line of people who wanted their makeup done by me.
Huh.
And so I
Because you
remember,
didn't fit that mold.
yeah, I was so
Yes.
different from
Mm-hmm.
everyone,
Mm-hmm.
you know?
Interesting.
And so I remember I got a call. His name was Ryan. He was the store manager at Nordstrom's. And I was like, what did I do? Because I'd never gotten called up to the office
Mm-hmm.
because I had a loudspeaker.
Oh
Schuron
no,
Wo-
even worse. It's like in the school.
Hun,
Getting called to the
literally,
principal's
literally,
office.
yeah, babe, I'm not even joking. It was so strange. So I got this call, and they were like, we need you up in the manager's office. So I was like, okay, I'll go up there, and like, Sean, we love you so much, but we need to let you go. We've gotten some complaints. And I was like, well, what are the complaints?
Yeah, right.
And like, well, you look a certain way, you dress a certain way, and it's not the aesthetic that we were thinking would, fit our brand.
That's so
Although they didn't say
interesting.
brand then.
Yeah, right.
But
Right.
this is us
That's what.
having our lingo.
Uh-huh.
And so I remember I had a dear friend, Bruce Bastian, God
Mm.
rest his soul. He was the creator of Word Perfect.
Mm.
I called him immediately. And he was like, well, we're going to call the ACLU.
Mm-hmm.
And he's like, this makes no sense. You are doing your job. You're making your goals.
Right.
You are
The
just
customers are
creative.
thrilled with you. Yes.
Literally.
Yes.
And he was like, no. I got the call. Frank, his name, I love it. Frank and Frank, they were the owners of MAC Cosmetics.
Mm-hmm.
They found out what happened, and they were like, our motto is all races, all sexes, and all ages. There's no reason you should ever not have a job. You do a great job, and we love you. I ended up going back into work. He had a meeting with me, and he was like, well, we have an open door policy, and we want you back. Right. It was crazy.
Yeah.
It was my first really, besides me moving from Alabama to, moving from Ohio to Alabama, it was the first time I ever had anything really traumatic happen in my life,
Yes.
So,
Well, and I imagine too, because it sounds like you were doing something that you loved at that time, and people were happy with you, but like being punished for just for being
being
different.
myself.
Right.
Yeah. Being what my mom would say is authentic.
Mm-hmm.
Being authentically you. What's
Yes.
wrong with that?
Right.
We're in a time right now where that's even a little scary.
It is. It is, absolutely. I know, which is a shame because, we're kind of moving backwards, right? Where it's like, okay, authenticity and like, being yourself, it's celebrated. And then it's like, oh, wait, hold on. Like, not too much like yourself, like there,
Right.
you see that people are still like wanting other people to fit into this mold that feels comfortable to them. And yes, that is a scary thing
Yeah.
that's happening, that moving backwards.
It's interesting to me because it seems like we should be in a time where we're just all living our lives authentically, truly who we are, and celebrated.
Right.
And celebrated.
I know.
Because what a time to be Black and beautiful, or brown and beautiful, whatever you are, and to know who you are.
Right.
You know what I mean? So all of that happened. I am digressing. Please forgive me.
No, that's okay.
I met this beautiful woman named Kay Malone,
Yeah.
and that's Karl Malone's wife.
Okay.
And at the time, I had found myself dabbling and trying to figure out who I was. I knew something was different about me, so I started doing drag.
Oh, okay.
And
In Salt Lake City.
in Salt Lake
Okay,
City.
now what was that like?
Honey, in the 90s.
Yeah.
Salt Lake City had an era that was, you would not believe how magical it was.
Interesting.
It had an underground scene that was phenomenal.
Yes.
We had Sundance Film Festival. We had all
That's
these
true, yeah.
incredible concerts that would go on. I mean, it was phenomenal. Janet Jackson came into town. I was working at the Mac counter. Kevin A. Kwan came to the Mac counter. I was in love with him. I had the art of makeup.
Course.
He was like, your makeup looks amazing, but let me show you a few things. And Kevin A. Kwan, with his big, gorgeous hands and his amazing energy, touched my face. Because he was there to take care
amazing.
of her.
Yes, I remember that book too. Yes, I
Right?
had that book. Yeah.
Right?
Yes.
So at that
that's
time,
incredible.
it was interesting because it was what we made it. The group of friends that I had made, the people I met in cosmetics,
Yes.
everybody that would come in to do a movie there or anything would have to come to the back counter because where else are you going to get makeup from?
Yeah, exactly. That's where you were
You
going.
would go to Nordstrom's.
Right, you're
You know,
right.
we didn't have Sephora
Oh,
or a
that's
Mac
so
store.
interesting,
So
yes.
I remember meeting Tay Diggs then. I met Nev Campbell then. I met Naomi Campbell. Like it was, and I was the Mac girl, honey.
Yes.
You know what I mean? I was bleeding black is what we called it. And so it was really beautiful. But I was doing a pageant. It was the Miss Utah pageant. Miss Gay Utah pageant. And I performed, and Kay had been Miss Idaho.
Oh.
And she saw me and she was like, I had no clue that you weren't.
Uh-huh.
I
Yeah.
was like, oh, I was like, well, this is just, you know who I am as a performer. And my name was Mahogany Christie.
Oh, yes, it was.
Girl, it was
Mahogany
crazy.
Christie.
Mahogany
That's so
Christie.
good.
It was nuts. But I had this mentor. She was he was beautiful. She in drag. Her name was Shanika Christie. But I was kind of competition for her because she was the only other black drag queen
Oh.
in Salt Lake City. And so she was like, well, you know what? Since you won the pageant, I'm going to call you my daughter. It was crazy. So I found this community, this family. Kay was like, Schuron, you are so beautiful. You are so much bigger than this. Working at Sundance Film Festival, I worked with Rebecca Gayheart, Rose McGowan. I worked with all these incredible people. And they're like, why are you here in Salt Lake when you're so good at what you do? I was doing Kirsten Dunst's makeup because I did Sophia Coppola's My First Mister. I was doing the press junkets for all these incredible, you know, thank you, James Lewis, a dear friend of mine. And they were like, you need to go to LA. And it's so weird when you're this young and you don't even know what manifestation is. But I do now, and I just know that it's always been with me. And angels and ancestors have been with me. And LA was where I was supposed to go.
Yeah. So how old were you when you moved to LA?
You're gonna scream. I was 25.
Oh yeah, baby.
Still very young.
Yeah, baby.
Yes. And so Kay was like, we're gonna come out there too because Carl wants to play for the Lakers. And so I had already decided to make the decision. And came out here. My girlfriend, Sarah Brimley, she was the cosmetic manager for Nordstrom's. And Mac was like, we got a job for you.
Wow.
And so I still had to interview. They were like, we love you. I came out, I got the job, worked at Nordstrom's Topanga, which is crazy, but I was living in Monrovia.
Oh yeah. That's
But, you know, you don't know California like you and I do now. I was like, that's an hour and a half away. But Sarah was like, oh, it's fine, honey. You just stay in the left lane and you drive from the 210 to the 134 to the 101. It was crazy, Dr. Patrice. And I was like, okay. So I got here, but LA is not what you think it's going to be. You know, I'm living in her really cute house in Monrovia. You know, she's got this great boyfriend. She's a cosmetic manager. She's driving a green BMW.
Yeah.
I've got a white Ford ZX2.
Yep.
You know, but I'm thinking, oh, I'm supposed to wear white Chanel suits and carry Louis Vuitton bags like she is, you know?
Yes. That's interesting. And you didn't feel that when you were in Salt Lake City, even though you were seeing all of these people coming through. Like, what was it about being in Los Angeles that made you at that time feel like, okay, this is how I'm supposed to present to the world?
It's funny. I think I was working at Saks Fifth Avenue. I had ended up getting this job. I was doing so well at Nordstrom's Topanga. Sarah had left. Jenny Suarez was my cosmetic manager. She's brilliant. But somebody from Laura Mercier saw me and she was like, you make so much money for Mac and we have a counter at Saks Fifth Avenue and we want you to come work for us.
Oh, you got poached.
Well, the funny thing was I'd been working for Mac doing so well. Tressa was my MRO at that time. It's so funny. I'm so grateful that I have the memory I have.
You really do have an amazing memory.
Girl. But Tressa was like, Schuron, they were opening the Hollywood and Highland store. And she was like, Schuron, you know, you do so well for us here. We don't really want you at the Hollywood and Highland store because we want you here. You know, your clients love you here. We love you here. I was what they called top tier pay setter, you know, which is bringing in like over $350,000 a year. And I said, you want me here, but I want to grow with the company, which is Mac.
Right.
And she's just like, it's just not where we want you. And I remember talking to John Dempsey, who was the president of the company. And I left.
You did.
I left Mac. And I only left, literally, you're going to scream, I left Mac only for 2 years. And I only left because they weren't giving me what I wanted, but I was still selling Mac at Saks.
Uh-huh.
And that's when it all hit me that I was supposed to have more. Besides seeing Sarah, this beautiful redhead with like great breasts and this YSL suits and Chanel suits. You know what I mean?
Mhm.
She was the California girl. You
Yes.
know what I mean? And so I was like, oh my God, I want to be like that.
Mhm.
I want people to see me, and I want people to be like, well, let me take you to lunch. Let me
Yeah.
buy you bags. Let me,
Yeah.
do these things. But it's only because it's what I saw.
Right. Well, and I guess responding to, what you're seeing and thinking, okay, this is the dream, but then you're still like wanting, like you're chasing that feeling. Like, how am I going to feel? How do I want to feel?
Yeah.
When I feel like I know I achieved this when I feel this kind of way, right? But sometimes
Yes.
we are just looking at the outward appearance and thinking that that's what's
Yes.
going to bring us happiness, right? It's
Yes.
not always the case.
Completely,
Hmm.
completely. But I think that's the hard part when you come here from a small place. Salt
Right.
Lake City is not a small place. Los Angeles is a very big place.
Yes. Yes.
But I was a big fish in a small pond
Right.
there. I had a
Right.
beautiful life there. I had a cute little house in the avenues,
Hmm.
honey.
Hmm.
I was dating all the right boys,
Yeah.
honey. I was doing what I thought everything was right there.
Mm.
But I knew that I wanted more because I did have Bruce Passion in my life. My dear friend Paul, they showed me things that were wonderful. And I thought, okay, well, I can have this in California too. So when I got here, I was like, well, how do I get it?
Right. Right.
How do I get it? And then you make a lot of mistakes.
Hmm. Yes.
You make a lot of mistakes. I was working at Saks. My cosmetic manager, Bill Geraci,
Mhm.
was like, Sharon, they're making this movie with Anna Nicole Smith, and you need to be in this movie. And I was
That was
like,
your first movie that you worked on?
yeah, but not as a makeup
Okay.
artist. They wanted drag queens, and I had drag
Oh.
experience at that time. But I always presented
Uh-huh.
as I do because
Mhm.
it's how I've gotten what I've gotten in this
Yeah,
life.
absolutely.
And so Bill was like, you should go audition. So I was like, but I'm here at work. I have clients I have to take care of.
Yes.
I was like, what do you mean? He's like, just do it. He's like, I'm gonna let you off. I ended up going home. I put on this costume that I wore. Do you remember Clueless?
Yes, of course.
So, honey, I thought I was Stacey Dash.
We all did. We were Stacey Dash.
I thought I was Stacey
absolutely,
Dash.
yes, we
I
were.
thought it was Dr. Patrice, honey. Let me keep it real.
No, we all definitely were.
Yes. And so, babe, I had this, you're going to scream. It was so beautiful. It was pink python, skin tight. It was crazy. A huge pink hat with a red wig with blonde highlights. I wore blue contacts.
Oh
'Cause,
my
that was
gosh.
my thing.
Yes.
Honey, I loved the idea of red hair and blue for some,
That's so
again, my
interesting.
girlfriend
Yeah.
Sarah,
Mhm, mhm.
everything that she was.
Yes.
So, and Kay, who I loved, but Kay was a beautiful mom and a wife, and
Mhm.
it was different. I was like, no, I want, I wanted to be like Kay because Kay was so beautiful, but she was stable.
Mm, mm.
I wanted to be wild and
Yeah.
sexy.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Mhm.
So I love Kay for the stability because she's my sister. She's
Yes.
my light. She's guided me through so much, honey. And shout out to Kay Malone. God bless you. I love you
Mhm.
forever. And Sarah Brimley.
Mhm.
Okay, because Sarah was the epitome of sexiness to me.
Yeah.
So anyway, beautiful goddess, I ended up doing this audition. I didn't think anything about it. I walked in and they were like, Sharon, you got the role. I was like, what? But the funny thing is, Dr. Patrice, I got here and things just started happening. Like even in Topanga,
Mm.
someone
Yeah.
saw me at the counter and they were like, I didn't know about energy then
Mhm,
either.
mhm.
Thank God you. I
Well,
love you.
you did know about energy. Maybe we just have like different words for it or ways of talking about it, but you always have known, right? You've always had that energy that draws people to you,
Yes,
right?
but I didn't know
Maybe.
what it
Yeah,
was.
yes, yes.
I didn't know what it was. I just knew that somebody at Nordstrom's back in the day, she said, you have a light that you carry with
Mm.
you that is so beautiful. And I was just like, this, can I cuss?
Yes, you can.
I was like, this bitch is crazy. A light. I'm like, okay. But as I got older, I recognized it.
Yes.
I recognized it. And God sends the right people to
Right.
you.
Right.
Kay
Yes.
Malone, Sarah Brimley,
Yeah.
all these people, James Lewis, all these people. I think, God has a map of your life.
Mhm,
You
mhm.
know, you just have to listen.
Right. Right. Yes. And believe. Okay, so I want to talk about, so your first role like your first movie thing? Was that
Yes, I have to
actually,
tell you.
but yes, but then, so how did you start working in television and working in feature film? Because I feel like when we're
Oh,
talking about that dream, so you growing up, being in Ohio, being in Alabama, being in Salt Lake City, like getting from there to being on all these shows, like winning awards, congratulations on the
thank
NAACP Image
you.
Award. I mean,
Thank
those, like
you.
how does that happen? You get from, you have this dream maybe, but do you, if you don't even see anyone doing that, until you do.
I'll go back, then I'll go,
Mhm.
and I'm kind of all over the place, so please forgive
No,
me because it's
no.
such a journey, my love. It
Right. It
really is.
is.
It's a journey,
Yes.
and it's taken 30 years.
Yeah.
To be perfectly honest, I mean, I thought I was gonna come here, I was gonna do makeup and film and television.
Mm-hmm.
That did not happen. Thank God for
Yeah.
Mac.
Yes.
Thank God for I don't remember the lady who saw me at Laura Mercier. Girl, got fired again, Laura Mercier.
Oh.
Laura Mercier, because that's when I had discovered who I
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
am.
Yes.
And Bill was like, whatever, who cares? Let me tell you something. We're getting another job. Mac saw me and Mac was like, we've always wanted you back. We've always,
Mm.
you're already selling our, product because at
Right.
Saks, you're selling
Oh, you're selling
everything.
everything. Mm-hmm.
And so, got my job back at Mac and was able to start my,
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
I got the movie. It was called Wasabi Tuna. Um, it was about Anna Nicole Smith. They made me Brown Sugar Anna.
Mm.
So I was dressed up as Anna Nicole Smith. There was so many incredible people in this movie. But I was on set and I saw these makeup artists.
Ah.
And Dr. Patrice, it was very interesting because they all wanted to do my makeup, but I remember them doing my makeup and I was like, why am I ashy?
Mm-hmm.
Why am I
Mm.
gray?
Right.
Why do I look like this? And I've been doing drag and makeup forever. So I
Yes.
was like,
You knew it was not supposed to look like that. Right. And because of probably all of your training, and like you had to know how to do everyone's. But
completely
everyone doesn't need to have to know how to
how
do
to do
yours.
us.
Right.
That part.
Yes.
And so that's the interesting thing, beautiful. I thank God that I started doing makeup from Alabama
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
to Utah because in Utah everybody was.
Yeah.
And so when I got here, people were like, "Oh, can you do my makeup?"
Uh-huh.
And I was like,
Like, yes,
"Girl,
I could
sit
do
down."
anyways.
And then again, there was a line at
That's so
Saks, there was a
interesting.
line at
Yes.
Nordstrom's, there was a line
Yes.
at Mac. It was interesting because there's no face that I can't do, no skin
Right.
type, no skin texture.
Right.
Whether you want to
Yes.
be a man to a woman, whether you want
Yes.
to be, kabuki, I
Yeah.
can do scars, I could do tattoos, I could do whatever.
Yeah.
There's nothing. Mac was a beautiful training for me. It
Mm.
was my education.
Yes.
And so I thank God for that. But on that set, I was working with Alexis Arquette, God rest her soul, one of
Mm.
my dearest friends who I love with all my heart, and a guy named Mark, who was a
Mm.
drag queen.
Mm-hmm.
And they both were like, Mark brought a dear friend of his, her name was Gina. And she was
How
like,
do you remember all these names?
babe,
I would
let
be
me
like,
tell you
there's a woman,
something.
she had brown hair. That's all
No,
I got.
let me tell you, I know my story like the back because it's mine.
Yes, yes,
It's
yes, yes.
mine.
That's
And
good.
I don't want to ever forget anybody because
Mm.
God is so good. And
Yeah.
all these people have helped make and shape
Oh,
me.
that's beautiful.
Men,
That's beautiful.
relationships, all of this. But when it came to being on this set, working with Anna Nicole Smith, this beautiful man named Daryush that I fell in love with,
Mm-hmm.
they were all like, "You're a woman."
Mm.
And I was like, well, I am a woman.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. You're like,
Hello.
I
Hello.
know.
And so then, my journey kind of happened then,
Mhm.
but back into Hollywood and what we're, talking about, it wasn't easy. It wasn't easy.
Mm.
I tried to get agents. I tried to do everything.
Yeah.
But I thank God for my friend James Lewis, who I, again, love with all my heart. He is so magnificent. James was in PR.
Mm-hmm.
And James was like, I'm going to always make sure that you are seen and heard. I want to cry because I love him and I miss him. We haven't talked in so long. James was like, I'm going to find a way to make this happen for you. And James and I, at one point, even stopped talking. He got married. He had kids. His
Mm-hmm.
life was
Mm-hmm.
something different. I was struggling. I became homeless. That's when he helped me.
Wow.
Like, it's not easy. I wish people knew that when you came to Hollywood, it is not an overnight. Overnight success really is 10 to 20 years.
Right, exactly. That's overnight. No, I think it's such an important point. You went over it quickly, but talk to me about what was going on that, like you became unhoused and everything. What was
Mhm.
happening? Was that like, okay, this is my dream, I want to follow, and
Yeah.
that things are not lining up the way that, you'd hoped they would. Is that what it was going on?
I wasn't listening to God.
Ah.
I'd started doing things because at that point I had started transitioning.
Mm-hmm.
And like I said, I'm an open book. We could talk about anything. I just decided because I want to be authentic with you and I love
Of
you.
course, yes, but
So
most
yes,
important is
yes,
that you're
yes.
comfortable,
No,
honestly.
I am
Okay.
comfortable because I'm
Okay.
with you and I love you.
Oh.
And this journey may help someone. This story may
Mm.
help someone,
Yes.
and also help the world see trans people in a different way.
Yeah.
Because right now, politically, everyone's so against something they don't understand. But what they don't
Right.
understand is all you have to do is sit down and talk to someone,
Yes.
you
Yes.
know?
But all of those kinds of things, like it just I I really fail to understand, how people are so against someone just doing what they need to do for themselves.
Literally.
It's literally
Because
hurting
it has
nobody,
that
and it's
part
like I think when that has to just be people operating, we call it hate, but I think it's fear. I think
completely.
it's fear of like maybe
Completely.
understanding yourself and and wanting to really know who you are, and then
Honey.
right, because you're running from something. Otherwise, if you're comfortable with
Yeah.
yourself, you're comfortable with other people,
Yeah.
right? You're comfortable with other
Well,
people
I think that
being
the funny
authentic.
thing is, the beautiful Dr. Patrice, who I love with all my heart, um,
Oh.
it's in our DNA though.
Right.
Our ancestors came here. There's a fight in us.
Mm-hmm.
And they didn't understand us
Yes.
back then. For some strange reason, a lot of people still don't understand us now. So my journey has been a long journey, but it's not, again ancestral,
Mm-hmm.
for me
Mm-hmm.
to get to where I am here.
Yes.
So
Yes.
I thank God and I pray to my ancestors all the time because I couldn't have gotten through this if it wasn't for everything that is in my DNA,
Right. Right. Right.
you know?
Mm-hmm.
And that's something that people have to understand. I am a fighter. I am a lover. I am a teacher. I am all of these things. I'm not just um, a woman of trans
Mm-hmm.
experience
Mm-hmm. Right.
because that is just part of my
That's
journey.
right.
My journey is being human.
Mm-hmm.
My journey is loving. My journey is allowing people to see who they are, whether that's through makeup or just a conversation who has no idea what I've gone through to become
Yes.
who I am.
Right.
And then they find out, I'm like, oh my gosh, I had no clue, And
Right.
I'm like, well, why would you?
Yes. Well, and you have now decades of experience, like just sitting with people and like hearing their own stories, right? When they come to see you,
Hmm.
you get the transformation. I've been there. I love talking to you, and it's like
Yes.
we have such great conversations just while you're making someone feel amazing,
Thank you.
and so it's like it's such a gift. But I'm sure you're taking in so much of other people's stories
Oh, for
and other people's
sure.
like experiences
For
and everything. And
sure.
I wonder what that is like for you. I mean, because you are such a light and such a wonderful person, but
Thank you.
is that difficult at times, if you're sitting with someone and it's like such an intimate space, and you're if you're absorbing other people's energy.
You know what's funny? Now that I'm older,
Mm-hmm.
I don't take on anyone's energy.
Right.
I know how to
Right.
block it.
Okay.
Do you know what I mean?
Yes.
But in the beginning I would.
Mm-hmm.
It was hard because you don't know when someone's in your chair, whether you're on set or you're in someone's home and doing them,
Mm-hmm.
what they're going to be bringing
Right.
to you.
Yes.
And so it took a long time to understand me. I did Kundalini yoga. I
Mm-hmm.
did a lot of therapy,
Yes.
Therapy. Everybody get a
Yep. Everybody.
psychiatrist or a
Thank you.
therapist, honey, because we all need it, honey. Black, brown, whatever
Yep.
you are,
Yep.
honey. If
Yes.
you can afford it,
Yes.
please do it because it will change your life.
Mm.
It took a lot of trial and error, a lot of people saying crazy things to me
Mm.
for me to be like, okay, this has nothing to do with me.
Right.
This is this person and whatever it is that they're going
Uh-huh.
through.
Uh-huh.
And then you get to a place where you're just like, well, I can't do your makeup.
Right. Right.
My love, I'm serious. I'm like, there's something about you that is lovely. I know that it is.
Yes.
I just don't see it. So I have
Yes.
to walk away from the
Yes, right,
situation.
exactly. Yes. Okay. So sorry, I took you to a different place, but you were talking about being on set. Yeah.
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
So being on set, taking on energy is one thing. When you're on set, it's different because it's a lot of hurry up and do it and
Right.
wait. You know what I
Yes.
mean? So you have to be mentally and emotionally
Uh-huh.
and physically, prepared for what's to come.
Right. Yes.
I've been blessed to work on so many wonderful shows. Belair is what I got my NAACP award
Mm-hmm.
for. Shout out to everybody there. Carla, I love you so much. Thank you. April Cheney, Alyssa, all these wonderful
Mm.
people. Camille, I thank God. But more than anything, Cassie,
Mm.
Cassie, who plays Aunt Viv, she was the person that I did makeup for in Coco Jones.
Okay. Yes.
Adrienne Holmes is so wonderful. Ali, Jabari, Simone, these people are so good at what they do
Mm,
that they don't bring anything except their
that's
professionalism.
interesting.
I
Yes.
have been on sets where you meet people who are like, I love the BG, but a lot of them are ready to be somebody.
Mm,
And
mm.
they be like, well, I need you to do this.
Yes,
And I'm
right.
like, baby, you will get there when you become number one on the call sheet.
Right.
You know,
And until then,
yeah,
yes.
yes. And I'm still going to make you feel good and look
Yes,
good,
right.
baby.
Yes.
But you know what? I got to make sure that they're number one. They
Mhm.
have to make sure that they look and feel their best. And so that's in keeping your energy and your love and your light and your
Yeah.
positivity.
And your boundaries. Yes.
Yes.
I mean,
Well, I love that you said
right,
that.
because I feel like that's what you're establishing when you're saying, I'm not going to take on your energy and I'm not going to do your makeup anymore, to some people. Like, that's your
Mhm.
boundary because you're reflecting on how you feel and not
Yes.
just about that other person, right?
Yes.
Because
Yes, yes, yes,
I'm
yes,
sure that
yes.
probably it would start out with like, how do I want to make this person feel? I want them to feel beautiful when they, when they walk away when I'm done. And then that shift to thinking about how it impacts you, which
Mhm.
is part of like, growing up, maturing, and like, and
Ooh.
then establishing those boundaries and saying like, yeah, actually, I don't. This is a choice.
Yeah.
Because when
Yeah.
it's not always a choice, but sometimes it's a choice, and so you
Listen, you are
know,
exactly right. Listen, on set, I have dealt with some people who have brought different energies.
mm,
I'm trying to be politically correct.
right.
And what I've been able to do is just focus on me.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Focus on me and what I've learned, what I know about what it is that I'm giving. Because if as long as I can like allow themselves to see themselves in the most beautiful way.
Right.
And once they like look in the mirror, then like and breathe. And
Mm,
also I know that what I have to do with them, my love, whether because when you're on set, you can't choose.
right. Right. That's when it's
Clients
not a
are one
choice.
thing, but when you're
Mm-hmm.
on set, you are this is your artist, you
Right.
deal with this artist, you make this person feel like because you're the person they see right before they go on
Right.
camera. And if
Yes.
you're not in the right mindset,
Mm-hmm.
if you
Mm-hmm.
don't have those boundaries, if you
Interesting.
don't have your mind right, you can take on all kinds of stuff. And you
Absolutely.
also won't do the best job.
No, you
And my
won't.
job is to do the best
Yeah,
job.
because it's not really, sustainable to do that, to take on other
Mhm.
people's. Like that and not take care of yourself.
Exactly.
Um, you mentioned Bel Air.
Mhm.
Um, how did getting that NAACP award, how did that kind of deepen your understanding of like visibility and representation,
You know
especially when it comes behind the scenes, right? Which we don't
yeah,
always know about.
yeah. You know what's so funny? I guess I really haven't thought about it too much because when we got the nomination, I was like, "Oh, this is so exciting."
Right.
But at the same time though, I was day playing on Abbott Elementary.
Mm.
Shout out to Constance and Jen. Um I didn't really even get to give it a lot of energy. I just thought, "Oh, this is so wonderful." But I'm just doing my job,
Mm.
you know? But once I got home, I had gone away for a bit to do a job. I came back and I was like, "Oh my gosh, I'm nominated for an NAACP award." I I didn't really even think about how big it was.
Yes.
And then to win, I just remember, but it's so funny, Dr. Patricia, to tell you something so interesting. Something in me knew. I was sitting in, and God speaks to you. I was never nervous up to it or anything. We got there. And before she even said Bel Air, I almost stood up. I was like, it was like God spoke it to me because there was something that we needed to do
Mm,
as a crew,
mm.
as a, to, um, to share light and love with the world. So it I do feel like winning this award, it is so prestigious. It is so beautiful. It is such a gift.
Mm,
Thank you, NAACP Award, for seeing
mm.
me, recognizing my talent and also our team's talent.
Yeah.
Um, I just feel like now I need to always be like my mom taught. Your mom probably taught you
Mm.
too. We all get this talk. You have to be
Mm,
10 times better.
right.
You have to. There
Mm,
is no going back. You can't sidestep. You can't do anything except be better, learn
yes.
everything, and be the best at it.
Right.
And that's all that I want to be. I want to give every cast member who is in my
Mm,
makeup chair the best of me so that they can give the best of themselves.
Yes. Okay. And how do you, in addition, like thinking about the boundaries and you're talking about therapy and yoga and those kinds of
Mhm.
things, how do you like make sure that you're doing that for yourself first?
I don't always. That's
Right.
the hard
Right.
part because you get up so early in the morning, you think about relationships that you're in, you think about what you might have not said or what you might have said or
Mm-hmm.
something you didn't do. I literally just pray.
Yeah.
I do a lot of praying, talk to God all the
Mm-hmm.
time, talk to you.
Yeah.
I mean, but also I'm a Virgo, so I sp- I like my alone time.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
You
So that's you
know?
can recharge
Yeah.
that way.
Oh, honey,
Yes.
listen.
Yes.
I love going to the gym.
Mm-hmm.
I love going on super long walks.
Yes.
Um, I don't mind buying myself a present because I've worked hard,
Right.
you
Yes.
know? But ultimately, it does go back to Kundalini. It does go back to God. It goes back to therapy. It goes
Mm-hmm.
back to all the tools that my therapist, Dr. Vivian Gripek, I love her so much, um, has given me about meditation.
Mm.
When I wake up in the morning, it's so beautiful. I do this thing, and I wonder if you do this with your clients. She taught me, and I actually sought her out because I was in a really crazy relationship.
Mm. Oh,
And
I wish we had more time.
huh?
I wish we had
Yeah,
more time. Okay, but yes,
right.
yes, okay. But
Yes.
tell me because I did want to ask you, like kind of some words of wisdom that you have for people. But it sounds like you're,
Mhm.
tell me
Oh gosh.
what your practice is
Um,
that you were
it's
saying about the meditation.
it's magical. What she does is she says the first thing you do at night is, obviously say your prayers or whatever you do because that is what you do. She says you close your eyes, you breathe, you quiet your mind, and then you imagine walking on cold tiles. The room is dim, and what you do then is you do whatever it is that you're going to do. In your mind, you're saying your prayers. Get up, you lay in bed, you breathe, you become grateful. You say, thank you, God, for all these wonderful things that I have, or that you've allowed me to have another day. And then you envision, it almost looks like this room, which is crazy that I'm in
Interesting.
this room. I was like, in my mind, this is what I've always
Wow. Oh, that's so
seen. There
funny.
are clouds and
Mm,
there's warmth.
mm,
And she says, and then you allow yourself to just say thank you. You say thank you to yourself.
yes.
And then I go to sleep and it's beautiful. I wake up in the morning and I do this thing where she says, you run on the beach. You see
Mm,
yourself running on the beach. You look to the left and there's the ocean. Then you look up in the sky and there's all these different birds. It's tropical. Then you see
mm.
these beautiful green trees and the humidity's on your skin and you start moving your body. And I swear to you, all of a sudden you breathe in and you're like, oh my gosh, I'm awake.
Oh,
It is going to be
wow.
the most magical day.
Oh, that's beautiful.
And so I look in the mirror and I say, oh my gosh, wake up, girl, you're beautiful. You fabulous. You can, and I've been doing this now for 15 years.
Yes.
And I swear to you, I don't have a bad day.
I love that.
I don't have a bad day unless some man is involved. But again, that's another talk.
That's a whole nother
Another
episode.
time. I've already
Seriously.
told you about these situations. You know what I mean?
Right.
But, I thank God for this. I thank God for God putting these beautiful people in my path. Again,
Mm.
I have to thank you for being who you are and talking to me because I see you and you see me. And then it's a blessing. I don't want to cry.
It's okay. People cry all the time on the
And
show.
because it's a blessing because God puts the right people in your life
Yes.
as long as you're listening.
Right. Right.
He
Yes.
will always guide you back to that path, but you do have to listen because like I said, I have had so many crazy things happen in my life.
Right.
I had to do a lot of things. I had to pay bills
Yeah.
to get hormones because the
Yeah.
world was not paying. I
Right.
mean, insurance wasn't paying. I had to do a lot of stuff, but God has always guided me on the right path,
Mm.
and that's been the beautiful thing about this incredible journey.
Yes. I love that.
I love
I
you.
love you. What a beautiful way to end. Thank you.
Thank
Okay, so
you.
if people want to find out what you're working on, where can they find you?
I am on Instagram
Mm-hmm.
and I am Schuron.
Excellent.
Yeah.
Wonderful.
That's
Thank you so
right.
much for being here.
I love you, please.
For more on what I'm doing, you can follow me on TikTok or Instagram at Dr. Patrice Lagoy. And if you enjoyed today's episode, please like and subscribe, and also would love to hear feedback or ideas for future shows. Thank you for listening.